Now Houston, Texas, make some noise because the time for talk is over. It's time to unleash the fury.
Diego, are we live?
We are live.
We are live.
Good.
Jack Shack Network.
First time in God only knows how long.
How you been, Diego?
I've been pretty good.
I feel like I haven't seen you. When's the last time I saw you?
It's been a long time, man.
It's been a while.
It was actually last Sunday.
Before that, it was a while.
Before that, it was a while. How's life? How's work?
Good.
Kicking your ass?
The summer heat is kicking my butt. Man.
Yeah, Diego's the sole reason we're not able to record podcasts.
No.
Yeah, man.
That's
nah,
not
the
true.
show goes on. The show goes
Yes.
on. I mean, we've had some cooler mornings, though. I know you talk about the heat, but
Yeah, but at 3 o'clock in the afternoon,
Oh,
sheesh,
they got you.
kick
You, are you on a bike patrol?
No.
You got the little bike shorts
No.
on and shit? Oh, you're in the
No.
uniform.
Yeah, uniform.
Yeah.
Bullshit. He's down there towards Galveston on the beach.
Dude, that's where it's windy and shit.
He's in his hoochie daddy
that?
shorts, riding his 10
That's what I figured. That's what I could see.
Got his little whistle.
Yeah.
Is that how it works? I was in Galveston. That day I called you, I was in Galveston looking at the venue. Speaking of Galveston, that 9-1 show we got coming up is the venue's great, man.
Down in Moody Gardens,
Yeah.
Galveston, Texas.
Big venue, great seating. It's got riser seating, tables on the floor. As of today, we're 10 days out maybe? 9 days out?
9
roughly.
days out.
Yeah, we've sold 60 tables on the
Nice.
floor. And then, I mean, we've probably got over 900 GAs gone.
Nice, man. This is like a full house.
It's going to be a full house thanks
See
to
Macario and Josh Altum in the main event.
Josh Altum, I think, on his own sold 21, 22 tables. Then we got all the ACS and Drew Radicek's guys. Ratajcek.
Drew Ratajcek.
Drew Ratajcek's guys.
He'll answer to Radicek
He
because so
will.
many people get it wrong. But yeah.
I know. And he always credits me for being the one guy that gets it right. One of the guys that gets it right. And then I just said
here you are getting it
Radicek.
wrong.
I know.
Man.
Taking after Diego's bullshit.
Yeah.
Diego's
How much howler have you had?
I mean,
Yeah, we're barely getting started.
pretty good.
Yeah, but before 9-1, we've got a lot to talk about, man. We just
We got a show coming
we
up.
just wrapped Fury Challenger Series 5. We got Fury FC 82 coming up. We got a lot on deck, man.
We had some viral moments at Challenger Series that just passed.
Yeah.
Had some celebrity family members on the card getting their head kicked off.
What you gonna do,
punched off.
brother?
Yeah.
For those of you that maybe don't know, apparently we had Hulk Hogan's nephew, illegitimate. Hogan doesn't claim him, but
I know. I didn't know that until I
Yeah.
started looking it up and stuff. And
yeah, there's some heat there,
don't know.
brother.
What is it? What was it? You know the reason behind it?
I really don't know. Maybe because he gets knocked out so easily.
I mean, the kid came in there with a good record.
Yeah,
8-2.
He's 8-2, but hey, man, I don't mean no disrespect, but I mean,
Say it, Wayne. Say it.
Where did those 8 wins come from? You know, and I was the first or only one to say that,
Yeah.
but you know, I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
It's different, man. I've seen a lot of guys come over with great records and leave with bad ones.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, we've had some. I'm not gonna say names, but we've had some 3-0 guys that are now 3-4.
yeah,
You know, they ran a 4-fight deal with us, and they knocked off 4 losses in a row. And I'm just like, shit, man. I brought this undefeated guy in, and the guys that we're breeding here. If you get bred from the amateur series, you gonna have some tough fights as an amateur. So when you turn pro, like, you gonna be ready to go.
Yeah.
I can give one of our starter guys to a guy from somewhere else that has 3 fights, and they'll take him out.
yeah.
And I love that.
I
love that.
I was chatting with one of the refs,
Uh-huh.
and you know he said, hey, for as much as he was getting touched, as much as he was getting hit and falling out, he was talking shit the whole time.
He was. That's
Which
what
is
made
awesome.
it. That made it great. Yeah, like he
You
was
ain't shit.
That's what he was saying.
No power. You got no power.
And I want to say after he got knocked out, got up, was like, man, that wasn't shit.
Yeah. It's like he just got knocked out. But dude, that makes like a great natural heel.
Yes.
It's like, dude, you just got your ass kicked. No, I didn't. Fuck you.
And, yeah, and credit
Get choked.
credit to
Yeah.
him, man. Like his manager hit me up the very next day. He's like, man, he's not happy with that. He wants to come back. I said, come on back,
dude.
man. I'd
Hey,
love to have him
I would love
back.
to see him come back. I'd love to see him fight again, man. Just
I-
for the entertainment factor alone, he's
I
somebody
pitched
that's
him.
fun to watch.
He's 8-3 now. I pitched him Hector Signs.
Oh, one of my favorite fighters.
Ooh,
So,
man, I tell you what,
I'm waiting to hear back.
You're
to
not
see.
giving him any easy fights. I'll say that.
I mean, you got an 8-3 record.
What you gonna do, brother?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we get Hogan to come corner him.
I doubt it. Lo Dudo.
Hey, I didn't know. Do you know Hogan's 70 years old?
Yeah. He just celebrated a birthday recently, man.
So I was listening to the podcast, the Joe Rogan podcast. So Hogan and Rogan both have the same birthday, August 11th, and that's my little brother's birthday too.
Wow, man.
So 8/11. I'm coming up
Y'all,
here.
so y'all are
and,
having a Hulkamania themed birthday party for your younger brother next time, right?
no, I don't think so.
Yeah. No.
I
Too
don't
old for that?
think so.
I don't blame you.
How often do they blame the promotion or the promoter or the matchmaker for something like that? Like, for example, if a fighter coming in 3-0 and then ends up being 4-3. I mean,
You gave me a guy that was too hard.
I mean, there really isn't anything to blame.
Hopefully never, right?
Like, they blame us for stoppages from the officials, from bad judging, shit like that I have no control over. But
Yeah, hey,
listen,
Diego,
man.
Whenever Eric does like this, that's the signal.
it's like the Empire,
That's
right?
the signal. You see Jeff
Fuck this
Rexroad
guy.
looking at Eric like now, and Eric tugs his ear. Boom. That's whenever
Actually, like,
Eric
I'll
stops
just
it.
sit there and make my ears move,
Mm.
and then they.
Yeah, that's a sign of a true
That's
pro,
the-
right?
that's the
He's on that
signal
Vince
right there.
McMahon level right there, man. You make
I just
your
turn
ears
to the
move.
right, and when he sees that ear flicker 3 times. No, but I don't think they can blame me for their record being upside down. You know, I'm not making you fight. You signed the contract, and at the end of the day, like, I can't get in there and fight for you. You do your damn job, and I'll do mine. And most of the time, it works out.
Yeah.
You know, that Challenger Series card though, was we had some prospects on there.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull that up.
Main event, AY, Arian Young.
Yeah, main event, Arian Young.
And he took on Carlton Minus, who was coming off of
Yeah, he's
KO
UFC
win.
veteran.
KO win over Dimitri Ivy.
Yeah, that's that was our first San Antonio show at the Techport Center,
Yeah.
where Carl Minus pulled off that finish.
I like Carl a lot. He's got a great personality, and he looked good. You know, he was in there exchanging.
Yeah, he's in there with a tough opponent, man.
so he
You
has
don't
6-1.
put any easy layup fights together.
And before that fight, I told Arian Young, you know, I said, listen, this is a great fight for you, for both of y'all.
Yeah.
You know, because he has the opportunity to knock off a prospect in Arian Young, and AY has the opportunity to be a UFC vet and claim that, hey, I can roll with the big guys. But I told him, I said, it's really not going to matter if you make it boring, man. If you go out there and you wrestle this dude for 3 rounds and you don't do something that's going to be exciting and make them notice you.
Yeah, he
The
definitely
wins-
answered that call.
Yeah, so I was very surprised. I've never seen him fight like that.
Yeah,
Like, in the fights he's had for us, he's never fought like that.
And he moves to 7-1
Yeah,
with
and
that victory.
With the
Do you-
TKO on the feet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they stopped it while the dude was getting popped on the feet. So, and he claimed this deal in his post-fight interview, you know, saying he's ready to go. He's ready for the big show. I text Sean Shelby the next day, and I said, hey, man, if you need somebody on Contender Series this season, featherweight, I got a guy that just beat Carl Minus, TKO'd him. Second round?
Third round.
Third round
Yeah,
TKO.
14 seconds into the
So
third
he was
round.
like, all right, man, thanks for the update. I'll keep him in mind. So I think this is where sometimes the fighter doesn't really take my advice, you know, and I called Arian's coach and I said, hey, if he's healthy, we need to get him moving again. Like, he needs to stay busy. He needs to stay in shape. He needs to stay in the gym. He needs something to fight for. Let's not sit and wait. And I think AY wants to wait at this point, thinking that he might get a call up. And, you know, it's different when you know for a fact that, okay, we're 6 months from Contender Series. You're going to Contender Series. We already confirmed your date and everything. Okay, well, now we can wait, and you know you got a date, but
If you have nothing on the horizon,
there's nothing guaranteed at this point.
and they want to see guys who are staying active.
Right.
They don't want to see guys that haven't fought in 6 months, 8 months, or whatever. So
So he kept telling me that he wants to fight in Oklahoma. He's from Oklahoma
Yeah.
City, which is a couple hours from Tulsa. So I offered him a good fight for the Tulsa card coming up, and so they're gonna pass, man, and hope hope that they can get a short call up or something. I said, listen,
Man, another good finish.
I know.
Pretty much guarantees it.
That's what I think too.
At this point, it's like, hey, if we need somebody, we'll call you. If he gets another decisive finish, man, I mean, he's got to be like right there.
They might force like a spot for him, you know,
Mm-hmm.
just to make sure that this guy's in. That kind of happened with AJ Cunningham on our last Tulsa card.
Yeah.
He came in. He had a good record already. He was kind of on the horizon. He came and finished Jason Mullen, and now he's on Contender Series this season. So
Badass.
yeah, so he'll be headed off to.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys on Contender Series this season. Shout out Zach Savage.
Yeah, Zach coming
Zach
off
Reese.
first round under a minute armbar, huh?
Yeah, man, snatched that arm in under a minute. UFC's newest middleweight. Congrats to Zach Reese.
And then we had Sawadi the week before.
So Waddy
Dude, he
making
looked
his
amazing.
claim.
Yeah, so
man.
him too. You know, I talked to him and Safe was like, "How'd you like that?" He didn't really wrestle at all.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what everybody was expecting to see, and he went in
That's
there.
what he's done for us.
Let it fly.
He's been very dominant in his fights with Fury, but it's been all wrestling.
It's been a lot of wrestling.
Now, it hasn't been boring wrestling.
No.
Like he'll put you on the ground and he'll beat your ass.
Right.
But like he made it very clear that he wanted to show, hey man, I can kickbox too. The dude wasn't lying.
He saved a trick. He kept a trick in his back pocket for Uncle Dana, and it paid off.
So you remember his fight with Murphy when
Yeah.
we fought Michael Murphy. So he wrestled Murphy for 5 rounds,
Mm-hmm.
and he would take him down, but he would pass his guard, beat him up, hammer fist, whatever.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how that fight would have went if they would have
If he
stood up like
stood-
that?
Oh man,
Dude, that would have been.
That was the fight we wanted to see. That's the
Yeah.
one we were hoping for.
Yeah, that would have been like rock'em sock'em robots, huh?
Yeah.
Who else we had on that card?
On the Challenger
Challenger
Series
Series,
card, we
yeah.
had Hector Signs and
Yeah,
and
so we
Nick
had Hector.
Compton.
Yeah, Hector and Nick.
Uh,
Hector goes out there and wins again. He got a big ass gash over his eye.
Yeah, he picked up the unanimous decision over Nick Compton,
Yeah,
30-27 across
that
the
moves
board.
Hector to what, 6-1? I think.
Yeah, 6-1 now.
And we had Ultimate Fighter vet Aaron Phillips knocked off Jesse Gangler. That's 2 in a row now for Phillips. Phillips' last loss coming to Zach Reese at 85. And Aaron's looked real good since he's dropped to 170.
Yeah.
So from 85 to 70, he's been good.
I think it's a lot better fit for him. Yeah, Trayvon Coker picking up another win, unanimous decision.
Man, I love that kid. I can't
Me
say
too.
that enough.
Me too, man. He's on my Cam Smotherman list of just like personal favorites.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just his personality.
Yeah.
He's so calm and collect.
He'll win a fight, and he's so low key about it. Like, what? I won? Huh,
Yeah.
okay, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh shucks, you know.
Yeah. And then like to me, he's never satisfied with just the
Yeah.
win. Like
And-
he wants to do something better, something more impressive.
Mhm.
But he looks better every time.
and he's
man.
always looking for it. He's got a chin. He'll stand
Yeah.
and throw with anybody.
And he never changes his facial expression.
No, man. I
Ever.
mean, he'll smile for Rich whenever he sees Rich up on the perch.
Yeah.
He'll like, oh.
And then
pick your
he's-
time.
and then he's right back
he's
to
so
business.
photogenic, man. Just like flashes $1 million smile, and then it's like, all right, back to this.
Back
and
to
he's like,
business.
Business face, man. You
So
know,
Coker
also-
picks up that decision over
Yeah.
Quintez, and that's another one. So Sap came to us 3-0.
Yeah, and he's had some tough fights here in Fury.
So he's had Trayvon Coker, and then he had Aaron Phillips. Where's his first 2, and he's 0-2 for us now, coming in as an undefeated welterweight. Oliver Jimenez.
Also on the card, yeah, Oliver Jimenez
Man.
picking up the win 58 seconds into the first round.
And he
Gets the
came out
stoppage.
and put on a striking clinic.
Yeah, man.
I'm talking to Oliver right now about coming back in October. So that put Oliver, at 2-2 now?
Yeah,
Record?
yeah, it's 2-2 now. Got the record back at the the 500 mark.
Yeah, we need to. Oliver's still young, and he's got a lot
Yeah.
of skill. And I think if he stays in the wrestling room and trains jiu-jitsu and
Which is
wrestling.
crazy. He looks a lot older than he actually is, man.
Yeah, he does.
Looks
Oliver?
like,
Sure does.
yeah, he looks like somebody's Theo. Like he's gonna go smoke some barbecue and
Hey,
whoop
listen,
your ass.
Oliver's probably had 100+ kickboxing fights.
Yeah, man, he's
So
a
he's
technical
been through
beast,
he's been
man.
through some wars, man.
So fucking
Like,
technical.
For him to go out there and he's getting more comfortable, and that's what it takes, that making that walk and putting that cage time in.
Yeah, Michael Capone picks up a unanimous decision over David Reza.
That was back and forth fight too.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
2 125ers, one making their debut, one 0-1.
Yeah, I was expecting maybe a split, but 30-27 across the board for Michael Capone.
Yeah, I thought it was a
Congrats to
split
him.
decision too. I thought there was a lot of back and forth, and then we go to
Yeah, and then our opener, which we touched on
Yeah.
earlier, Paul Garza,
Paul Garza versus Hulk Hogan's
killing
nephew.
Hulkamania for Fury FC.
And if you look at have you looked at David Bolea's IG or anything?
I haven't.
Dude, he tries to bring that wrestling personality out,
Yeah.
and you can see him trying to give like those Hulk Hogan antics and
Yeah.
try and bite off of what that is. But I hadn't seen some of those articles saying that Hogan didn't claim him and shit.
Yeah, I saw that, man. I was trying to find his socials, I guess. It's not under his name. It's got to be under something else.
Yeah, I forget
Yeah,
what it is.
stumbled across a story where I guess the headline was, Hogan says that, he's not a legitimate Hogan. And, well, I mean, Hogan is your stage name, so technically,
You're not really Hogan either. I would never say that to
No,
him, but he's not. He's not really
Yeah,
Hogan
dude,
either.
he must have really, I don't know.
What-
he must
what-
have shit in the mashed potatoes at the family reunion or something, dude. He really fucked shit up.
One thing I say about that guy though is, man, when he accepted the fight, signed the contract, he was in the clinic the next day, got all his fucking medicals done. He's over 36, so in Texas the medicals are extensive
He's
when
got to
you're
get
over-
like EKGs and all that good stuff.
Dude, he did everything.
Yeah, kick ass.
Fucking straight professional.
Pros pro.
Handled his shit, and now he's good for a year, so we can bring him back all year to fight if he wants to.
Hell yeah. So whenever we get him back on the card, Diego, you got to make some time to, I don't know, set a block of 30 minutes aside and just ask him some lighthearted questions and let him go into promo mode.
You know the fight I'd like to see after seeing that fight though? How cool would Paul Garza and Michael Murphy be?
That'd be fun to watch, man. We haven't seen Murphy in a while, man. It's been a minute.
Dude, I mean, he's in a position where he's got to get the right fight at this point. He's coming off 2 losses, but to good
Right.
Markel Medeiros and Salwati.
Guys who are, in or on their way to the UFC.
Yeah. Markel's headed to Contender October
Contender
10th.
series coming up, right?
Right, yeah, 10-10. So for Murphy, we got to figure he's 35 years old.
So it's gonna take something special to
is
get
the
him noticed.
UFC in arm's reach? Probably not. But that doesn't mean that there's not money out there for him, like PFL maybe.
PFL, Bellator.
And the dude's exciting. When you put Michael Murphy in the cage, he's going to do something that's going to make people stand up at some point, unless the dance partner's not right. If you got somebody that just wants to hug him and shit, and I think that's where his coaches are kind of hesitant. They want to make sure he gets the right fight.
Understandable,
And
yeah.
even Murphy and David Bolea. I mean, David will stand with him. He stood with Garza.
Yeah.
Now, I can't say that it ain't going to end the same way it ended with the Paul Garza fight.
Yeah, man.
And that's what I kind of want to avoid. I'm not trying to bring this kid in just to get his ass kicked every time. I'd like a fair fight. But how much more fair did you get than a 35-year-old Michael Murphy?
Yeah.
You know exactly what you're going to get. He's not going to try and wrestle you down. So
In wrestling, they call that enhancement talent. Guys you bring in just to lose.
yeah, so I'm not trying to be that guy, man, to do the enhancement talent. Man, we had a lot of amateur fights on this card as well.
You want to run through those real quick?
Just run through a few that stand out. I didn't expect the Ramon Thurwalker fight to go the way it did. Ross is on a tear. Ross is very well rounded.
Yeah.
I knew Ramon was going to come out and wrestle him and would probably eventually get him down. I just didn't think he was going to be that
Ramon
quick.
got the tap out, rear naked choke.
First round, right?
Yeah,
Quick.
first round, 2:41 into the first round.
so
So,
that-
I mean, almost made it out of the first.
That was fast.
I don't think Ross has been finished that quick. So,
And Ross was coming off some wins. What's Ross's record at that right now?
he's 4-3 now after that loss.
Okay.
So, still got some time to
And man, I mean-
recover, make some adjustments.
I had said
Still
if
an
he
amateur, so I mean,
had he won that fight, I was going to give him a title fight. And maybe I should have waited to say that. And I don't know if the coaches told him. I don't think Alyssa would have told him anything, but maybe I should. If she did, I probably should have waited to tell him that. Maybe he went in there with more pressure on his back. But Ramon just fought for the title with
it's
Micah.
a double-edged sword, man. It either serves as motivation and
Right.
it pushes you to that next level, or you can, make it a burden and put too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's an amateur fight.
Yeah.
And you learn from it, and I'm assuming that Ross is probably going to say, man, I'm not going to go out there and feel that again. I'm going to make the changes and do what I got to do to get in there and have a good fight the next one. A fight that stood out was 18-year-old Jaden McCannon and Nathan Harris.
Yeah.
So both of these guys making their debut. McCannon coming from GB
Gracie
the Woodlands.
Baja in the Woodlands, Texas.
Yeah, and Morano was very high on him, and he told me, hey, this kid, you're going to love him. And that fight was back and forth.
He looked very unassuming coming in. And
Yes.
He gets a TKO in the third round.
Yeah, and
picks up a win in his
the
debut.
kitty fight was tough as hell, too.
Yeah, Nathan Harris also
Yeah.
making his debut.
Yeah, so Nathan, I didn't realize it until his coach showed up, but his coach, Tin Nguyen, used to train for years with Saul Solis, and he
Oh, wow.
finally opened up his own gym. But I'd love to have both of those guys back. I'm actually talking to Jaden already about October, and I'm going to reach out to Nathan and try and make something happen with him. Damian Aronde.
Damian
Aronde stood out, too. He went out there and handled business, got the
Sure
finish.
did.
Damian's coming back next month, 9/24. He's turning around.
Another tap out in the first round, under 1 minute,
Yeah.
53 seconds into the fight.
And I feel like Damian had something to prove. He didn't like the way the last one ended.
That's the way I expect to see him in every match, man.
And I
he's,
think
he's
he-
just a beast on the ground. He'll get a submission
Be the
however he has to.
Yeah, so he'll be back in a couple, 3 weeks probably, I think. 3 or 4 weeks is
Oh, yeah.
9/24. Then we had the females.
Yeah, Elizabeth Lee.
Yeah, we don't
the-
see enough female fights.
First round TKO. Yeah, we only had one on this card.
Yeah, so there's not enough female fights out there.
There's,
now.
there's just not that huge of a talent pool. I don't think. I mean, that's not to say there aren't some talented fighters out there, but I mean, there aren't very many of them to put a lot of them on the card.
And I say
Like
that
right now, I mean, we're
Kara
talking
Greenwell.
off the air.
Yeah.
You're trying to find an opponent for Kara Greenwell at 115, and you're having a hard time. There's just not that many. She's even willing to fight at 125. And
Yeah, and Kara's willing to go up, but we're really trying to build the female division, man. So when we reach out and we put these messages out and stuff, and I get no's that come back, in my mind, I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, we have the opportunity to build y'all right in front of Mick Maynard in his hometown in Houston.
One name that immediately comes to mind for me is Amber Terrell. I love watching her fight. She fights at 105 though, and there's not really a 105 division. That's where she fights though. She'd be a great opponent, I think, for Kara Greenwell at 115. That'd be a fun fight to watch.
I offered that yesterday.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure
I offered that to them.
I
and
would love to see it, but I doubt they'll take it because I know she doesn't really want to fight at 115. She wants to stay at 105.
I know she's had a couple fights on peak, and I think she took them at 115.
Did she? I thought she was still fighting at 105.
So she's 2-2 now, and Kara's 1-0. I think it makes sense, man.
It'd be a good fight. It'd be a great fight.
Can't be
It'd a great
afraid to
test for
lose.
Kara.
You can't be afraid to lose. You got to go in there and you got to handle business. If the next level is where you want to be, you cannot be afraid to lose. There is no let me play it safe. I just need an easy fight. I just need another win. Like it doesn't always work out like that, but
Try to protect your record.
anyhow, all in
Rafael
all,
Garcia.
yes, so Rafael won by how?
Yeah, unanimous decision, 30-27 across the board.
Then we had the
Over
Wilson
Bradley
brothers.
Clifton.
We
And Emmett Epperson gets a tap out. Triangle in the first round.
What's
2.5
Emmett's
minutes
record
in.
now?
He moves to 3-0 after that one.
3-0. So he's gonna be knocking on title fight here pretty soon.
Yep. And
Normally 4-0, 5-0. I start looking for it.
then
Then we had the debut
opening
of
up
my
the card.
my little nephew, huh?
Yeah, man. Laz Garcia. First round TKO, a minute and a half in.
Uh,
We were talking about him a couple of podcasts back. Hell, it may have been the last podcast. It's been so long. But, man, he was, chunky little 10-year-old kid sitting cage side. And then now here he is in here picking up first round TKOs.
I was nervous. When I saw him walk
Yeah?
out and stuff, I was like, damn, this is my nephew coming out now. Like, I was pretty nervous.
If something happens, everybody's going to blame Uncle Eric, right?
Yeah, but I told him before the fight.
Theo Eric, Lulak, please.
I told him before the fight, I said, listen, man, it's all business. Like, the treatment is the same across the board with all the fighters. You're going to get the same that these other guys get, man. There's no favoritism.
You're
So
no one to me.
if you leave it in the hands of the judges, don't expect to win because I'm the promoter.
Right.
It doesn't work like that,
Yeah.
And I made sure that nobody knew that was my nephew.
Yeah, that's
So, I
good.
mean, obviously they know now, but I didn't want there to be any kind of anything. Favoritism, nothing. Hey, you can get your head knocked off just like and granted, he told me like he went out there and like he got hit with a straight right hand when he threw a kick with his hands down, and he's like, dude, I saw black. I thought I got knocked out.
Wow.
That's
You
like-
recovered pretty quick.
I said, imagine getting hit by like a flyweight that really knows how to throw a punch.
Mhm.
Like that dude lobbed a haymaker and landed it. Like you get hit by a Josh Van or a Jacob Silva or a Brandon Moreno or somebody that knows.
It's gonna be lights out.
Yeah, you might not wake up.
Well,
you might not wake up
for a minute.
Yeah, but all in all, the Challenger Series card was super solid. For people that don't know, Fury Challenger Series is another event that we throw in to continue to build the roster and
featuring the rising stars of, the Fury FC.
Keeping our active
amateurs as well.
Contracted Fury athletes busy. We give out these 4-fight deals, you know, when we sign these guys, and we want to make sure that there's enough events throughout the year to make sure that we can fulfill our end, and you get 4-fight offers or be able to take 4 fights.
And it gives a guy with, say, like a 4-1 record, somebody with like 5 fights under, gives them an opportunity to maybe main event, you know, on a card they normally wouldn't.
At this point, though, we're at a point now where we can give guys. We're starting to look at it more of like let's look at UFC this weekend.
Boom.
It's UFC Fight Night in Singapore. It's not a pay-per-view card. It's Fight Night.
Yeah.
So we're trying to turn this Challenger Series more into like a Fury Fight Night or Fury Fight Day.
Yeah.
Whatever, to where we can offer another event that's free. You don't have to be a UFC Fight Pass subscriber. You can go to their social pages. You can check it out on Fight Pass for free, on UFC Fight Pass social pages for free, and kind of get a glimpse of what you can see if you get a UFC Fight Pass subscription and go and watch Fury FC like we got coming up this weekend.
Did we mention it's free? It costs you nothing.
It's free. Yeah. Did you mention it's free?
Yes, it's free. But I also want to. This is a public announcement. You
Here we
got to experience it in person and live to really appreciate regional talent going to the UFC. You know, you can say, look, I saw him when he was an amateur. Now he's in the UFC main event.
If you live in Texas, coming to a Fury FC event, and you don't got to take my word for it. Just come do it one time. Like, it's worth the drive, man.
It's one thing to watch it on TV and okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's fun, whatever.
Yeah.
There is nothing like that live experience. You know, the lights and the music and the hard hit, like hearing the pop of the gloves and stuff live. There's nothing like it, man.
And you never know what superstar might be in the house.
Yeah,
because there's somebody
true.
every show.
There's always somebody there.
If you're a fight fan.
I've got a friend of mine that I think wants to come through this Sunday. I'll talk to you after the deal. But man, there is nothing replaces being there live. There was somebody that came out. It was a couple of shows back, and she was talking to me after the fights, telling me how she has watched a lot of them online.
It's
and
different.
It's cool, but she was here live. She's like, "Oh my God!" Like it's like
totally
electric here, and she's not wrong.
When you have a full house and like you've got a main event and the guy sold his ass off in tickets and he takes that walk and the crowd goes
crazy,
like a Michael Aswell fight where the crowd is just hot for that fight, man.
I can imagine what Moody Gardens is going to feel like in a couple weeks.
Yeah, man. Josh Altum sold his ass off.
Galveston County.
That's finally going to Diego's neck of the woods.
Yeah,
you gonna bring you got any Asian females coming out?
He's gonna ride his 10-speed to the venue.
How many masseuses you got coming?
We'll talk about that off.
Diego's like, I got the security covered. It's gonna be all his. Come on, Diego.
Pink handcuffs.
Yeah.
He's gonna need his own personal table.
Yeah.
He needs more than one comp this week.
So we got Fury FC coming up this weekend.
Yeah, man. Fury FC 82 on deck. Got in the main event, Paris Moran versus Alberto Trujillo for the flyweight title. Man,
wow.
A title that's been vacant since Josh Van got called up to the UFC.
Yeah, that's
I don't know if they can live up to it.
We tend to put belts on guys, and then they end up like if you look at the track record right now, it was CJ and Jacob. Both of them went to both of them ended up going to Contender Series, but CJ ended up going, and now he's doing pretty good in the UFC at this point. His Contender Series debut was TKO, quick TKO to the body, but
straight out of Fury.
Yeah. Speaking of flyweights,
are we doing that? Are we going right there?
Let's bring him in, man.
Hey, we could bring him in to actually help us preview this card because he's got some history.
And he probably knows most of these guys.
Yeah, he's got something to say about a lot of these guys, I'm sure. Let's welcome in our special guest this week, former Fury FC flyweight champion everybody's favorite UFC flyweight out of Houston.
That's right.
The fearless
brother?
Josh Van joins the podcast finally.
Everybody calm down.
Welcome in, sir. Good
Hey,
to see
stop.
you.
Everybody's clapping.
I know.
Stop
Hey,
clapping.
calm down,
Come on, guys.
ladies.
Y'all
Don't throw your
Alright.
panty
Yeah,
draws up here
Hey,
quite
lady,
yet.
pull your shirt down, lady.
Yeah, man.
Pull your shirt down.
It's a family show.
You like boobs? Yeah.
I love them.
You love boobs?
I love them.
Big ones or little ones?
I had somewhere that I was going, and Eric just like jumped in and derailed me,
Oh,
man.
my bad. My
It's
bad.
all
Hey,
good.
lady, put
Hey.
your shirt down again.
Yeah,
Go
really,
ahead, Wayne.
it's her fault. Really, it's her
Yeah,
fault,
there you
right?
go.
But no, man,
There you go, man.
I've talked enough about you joining the podcast. I mention your name often to Eric. I mean, we got to get Josh Van on. We got to get Van on here. And I feel like this should be like your second or third appearance at this point. But no, it's your debut visit to the Fury Unleashed podcast. Welcome to DNA Studios. Thanks for being here, man.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you for having me here.
How does it feel, man? You're in the UFC.
Shit, it feel great, man.
UFC flyweight, the fearless Josh Van.
So you already made your debut. You're already on the books for fight number 2.
He's on a 6-fight win streak.
Yeah, straight out of Fury.
Straight out of Fury.
About to make it
Straight
7.
out of Fury. I was talking to him earlier, and I remember being at Henzo Gracie in Lake Houston, and it was like a UFC fight weekend, and he hadn't even made his amateur debut yet, and I was there, and they had it kind of roped off where the fighters were doing their warm-ups and stuff, and then they had like the crowd sitting on the other side because it was open workouts, and I was on the fighter side with Jeffrey Neal, and Jason House was there, and it was almost over, and Scotty Juarez calls me over. He's like, man, I need you to meet this flyweight Josh Van.
One ball, Scotty.
Yeah, one ball Scotty.
Okay.
One ball Scotty. And I walked over there and I shook his hand, and he was like, hey man, I'm gonna fight for you soon. And I was like, okay. He's like, and one day I'm gonna be on that side of the stanchions, the rope or whatever. And
Yeah.
I never forgot that, man. And like you remember who your first fight was? Your amateur debut?
Yeah, Luke. I only remember his first name, Luke.
Who was his first?
Metro guy.
Luke Guillen.
Luke.
Yeah, Luke.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Was that at the arena? Where's that at?
Nah, it was right here.
Humble?
Humble City.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm sure
see,
Fury FC 43. We're probably still
What's-
at the
what's
Civic
the
Center
date?
out here. Man, that was 2020, December 12th.
Shit, man.
It feels like he's been fighting longer than that, man. I was expecting that to say like 2018 or
So
something.
December 12th of this year will be 3 years from
He
his
fought
amateur debut.
so much. That's why it feels like longer. He's fighting like what, 5 times a year?
Dude, I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
You gotta stay busy, man. And I think I told him and Scotty that I said, listen, man, if he's healthy, we gotta keep him active. The more active he is, the more he shows that he's in there all the time.
You don't have to tell a guy like
Yeah.
Van that, man. You got to pull him back. Like, hey.
But like,
let's wait at least 30
but
days,
I
man.
truly feel like UFC matchmakers look at that. They're like,
Yeah.
man, this dude's been fighting every month. I could
They
call
want
him
to
right
see
now.
if
He'll
you've got
probably come fight.
finishes, and they want to see how active you are.
Yeah, the finishes are big too. Like you had how many finishes for Van? All of them except all of them, right?
7, 8. Yeah, 8 finishes.
Yeah, there's one decision as an amateur.
That was
Everything
the
else-
title fight though.
Everything else, yeah.
The title fight versus Tonio.
Yeah.
Everything else is finished. KO, ground and pound, rear naked choke, punches, KO, calf slicer. That was in Denver. Remember that?
So you talk about somebody like Van, like he's the perfect role model for a young, up and coming fighter that is looking to punch their ticket into the UFC. How old are you now?
21.
12.
21. Hey, speaking of 21, he just had his first taste of Hallerhead whiskey. What do you think?
Hey, this shit is amazing, man.
And we're getting the monkey spirit in us.
Yeah. Shout out to Hallerhead
Early in
whiskey.
the morning.
Shout out.
Big
It's-
sponsors.
It's after 11 now, so you know it's
All right.
like
It's-
noon on the East Coast.
Yeah, it's time to drink.
It's afternoon. We're day drinking.
Shout out to Hallerhead and Live Oak Vodka, man, for
Live Oak.
always taking care of us, making
Live
sure.
Oak Texas vodka. I feel like that's so important, man. Like whenever you hear Texas vodka, you know it's legit. It's not like some
And they're hitting
bullshit vodka brand.
every venue that we are at in Texas. They're in contact, and they are the official vodka for those venues.
The official vodka.
That's-
I'm a
Fury
vodka
FC.
guy. I'm a vodka guy.
I know you already fucked up. I can tell. Look at you. I
Yeah,
told you.
once Diego
Shit,
starts
you got
popping
fucked.
that whistle, you know it's
Yeah.
on.
Pop your collar, Diego. Let me see that shit. See that shit? See that shit? Anyways, yeah,
Hey.
wait.
So You're of Asian descent. Diego has some experience in that department. Do you have any advice for Diego, like what to look for? Or?
Oh man, shit, I don't even know.
You don't have a wife or kids or?
Nah, none of
Who's
that.
the little kid I always see on your?
That's my little nephew.
Yeah, that's a
my
cute little kid, man. How old is he?
He's 6, about to be 6.
And you be holding.
He's
little
like
pads
18.
for
He's
him,
getting ready to
man.
make his amateur debut. They look like brothers.
Yep.
So 21 years old, made his amateur debut less than 3 years ago, and he's already in the UFC.
Yeah, man.
Crazy.
But how does it feel real yet?
I mean, I tell you what, that Paris Morin fight.
Yeah.
There's nothing greater feeling than that. I mean, I made my UFC debut and everything, but it was.
That's the one.
I could never forget that.
So
Paris Morin fight.
let's touch on that a little bit. I was gonna go there, but man, he's coming in hot as I would expect. So we watched you pretty much grow up like right in front of our eyes, man.
Yes, sir.
Fighting all these amateur fights, and then like when we turned pro, you stayed really active. You weren't even really on the title radar yet. You're an upcoming prospect, but you weren't even in that title picture yet. But you spoke that into existence, man. You came up to
Sir.
me after an event. You went to Eric. Like afterwards, we all kind of were talking like. I told Eric, like, man, Josh Van came over to me and said he wants Paris Morin. And Eric's like, he said the same thing to me.
Yeah.
And Rich, he said the same thing to me. He's like, dude, this kid wants this fight. And I remember Eric saying, I don't know if he's ready for that yet.
I remember
mean,
that
I can
too.
see that fight happen, but I don't know about right now.
Oh.
But Josh, you kind of forced Eric's hand into making that.
I
You
had-
spoke it into existence. Let's talk about that.
I felt like I had a job to make sure that this kid was gonna be bred the right way. You know,
You wanted to give him the right fights, but not too much too soon.
right. Him and Scotty trusted me, and it really, when he told me that day at Henzo Gracie, I never forgot it.
Yeah.
So I was like, we're gonna bring this kid up the right way, and we're gonna make sure that everything gets done perfect. And he's young still. You know, there's plenty of time for a Paris Morin
Right.
later on.
Right.
But when somebody does what he did, I'm not the guy that's gonna tell him, "Nah, man, you're not ready."
And it
Because
was
I'm not
early
gonna-
enough in his career
Right.
to where if things didn't go right, you know, you had time to
100%,
recover from it.
100%. But there was something in him that he knew I could handle this.
Yeah.
And who am I to tell a fighter? Like I've always said, I can give you the opportunity. I can't get in there and fight for you. So there's the opportunity. He was willing to go in there and fight, and he capitalized on it, man. And he
Paris
shocked a lot of
Morin is
people.
He's such a technical
Yes.
beast.
Yes, sir.
So I mean,
Yes.
not that Josh isn't, but it's
Right.
like, man, Paris has been doing this for a little bit longer. His record's a certain level, and he has that technical expertise. Do we make this fight? You pulled the trigger on it, and man, you know,
And it was
it went like what, second round? Like not even a
Second
minute
round,
into the second
yes, sir.
round. I remember like Paris. You know, you rocked Paris. You tried to recover him. You just pounced, man. That's one thing. You're relentless. I mean, I know your nickname is the Fearless, but you are relentless. Whenever you see an opportunity, an opening, you capitalize on it, and your record speaks for itself. I think you got like one decision in your pro career, and that was like here recently.
Yes, sir, in the UFC. So what happened was I met him in my amateur debut. I think that was like his third pro fight or something. And
Paris?
then, yeah.
Amateur debut,
And
Paris Morin.
I saw him fight. I was the first fight of the night, so I was watching the fight, and then I saw him fight. I said, I like this guy. I want to fight him. And then,
It's crazy the way that works, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I really like this guy. I'd like to get
This
punched in the
guy,
face
yeah.
by him.
Yeah.
So he was very technical, and I want to test myself with him, you know. And then I told Scotty, so I want to fight him. He was like, "You only amateur?" I was like, "Yeah, but wait." And then
I think I remember that.
Yo, I think I talked to you
I
too.
think I
and then
remember that. I
I
was
was
like,
probably
man-
down at the Bayou City Event Center.
I was like, you got time, Josh.
Yeah.
You still got time. Like,
So,
relax.
I walk into his locker room, and I introduce myself. I say, "Hey, I'm Josh Van," and he don't even recognize me at
Yeah.
that time. You know what I'm saying? And then, yeah, that's how long I want to fight him.
He's like, hey, cool. You want an autograph, kid, or what?
Yeah, something like that. You
So
know?
you were 18.
I was 18.
18 years old.
turned
Yeah,
19.
Amy debut.
I hold this kid close because he really grew up in the Fury cage.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of guys like I know we always say straight out of Fury FC, but some of these guys will go fight amateur elsewhere. Some of them
Some of them will go pro.
Some of them
elsewhere.
will go pro elsewhere, and when they see that promotion is not doing it for them, then hey man, can I get a shot on Fury? And I'll take them. Like I'm never gonna deny somebody the opportunity. Now somebody that trusts me from the beginning and it works out, totally different.
It's
Like,
straight out
because-
of fear.
Ownership.
yeah, that's different, man. So like,
Not so
there's
much
still a handful
ownership,
of guys.
There are certain. I guess there's a thought process to that. Hey, we need to get experience elsewhere, fight for different promotions,
Right.
fight in front of different venues, or travel around, get some more experience. But whenever they trust you with their career,
Right.
there's extra pride in it for you.
It's like when someone pops their cherry, that first one.
Well, actually, it's not really anything like that.
That's a little
Diego's
different,
had
Diego.
cherry
You know how-
Dr. Pepper in his live oak vodka.
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I don't know what that meant,
He's
but
trying
all
to
right.
segue back to the massage parlor talk. is what
Hey,
he's
you can
trying
go
to do.
pop some cherries in about 30 minutes. Relax. All them little ones.
But no, there's nothing wrong with wanting to fight elsewhere. I know you don't fault anybody for that.
No,
but I mean, if your ultimate goal is to make it to the UFC, we're a pretty good path. We're not the only path to get there, but we're a pretty good one, and we're a pretty linear path to get there.
Listen, if you want to be elsewhere, I'm not the guy to keep you here. If you feel like I can't do my job and I can't do what I got to do for you, then hey, by all means, find somebody else that can. Right?
So my
Like popping
question,
a cherry.
right? Probably,
There you
saying
go.
popping the cherry, getting losing your virginity,
But, like,
you have ownership.
So
Josh, he's asking you if you've ever had sex.
I'm
leave
not
it alone,
asking
man.
that.
Come on. Hey, so we talked about his title fight win as an amateur was against Tonio Figueiredo. Josh fast-tracked the shit out of his career, and he's in the UFC now. Antonio's making his pro debut next week.
Yeah.
Like,
now that you say that, I'm
right.
looking at that. Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. Like, guys, if you're listening, you got to take a page out of Josh Van's book. Like, when we say stay busy, stay active, if you're healthy.
That was over 2
fight.
years ago.
Yeah.
That was over 2 years ago that amateur title fight that Josh Van won. That was June of 2021. And Antonio Figueiredo was just about to now make his pro debut.
And then Josh went on a tear as a pro and fought 8 fights, and he's in the UFC.
Yep.
Damn, son.
So the card this weekend, I'm assuming you're coming.
Yeah.
You're going to
for
come watch the fight?
Yeah, you're here in town.
Ha-
You don't have a fight coming up until, I guess, November now, right?
November.
So you got plenty of time to come
And he's
hang
fighting
with
at
us.
Madison Square Garden.
What?
That's big.
MSG.
See,
Holy
look
shit.
at that. So 2 years ago, you're fighting for an amateur title.
At the Houston Arena Theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since then, you've gone on to win our flyweight title. You've earned an opportunity. You're in the UFC now. And now you're about to fight in Madison Square Garden in your second UFC fight.
I wonder
That's
how many
incredible,
people
man.
does Madison Square Garden hold? Over 20K, right?
Probably 18 to 20, I would think.
20,
So
yeah.
it's around that. It's an older venue.
Say 20,000.
Yeah, 20's fair.
And you're fighting at the Houston Arena Theater that holds 2,800. And we probably had 1,200 maybe. Dude, that's amazing,
big.
man. Like, what does the family say? Like, your family
Man, they
supports
couldn't
up?
believe it. They
Yeah.
couldn't believe it. Especially my mom, man. She was like, "You was just." Also,
Does
at
your
the
mom
ho-
live here?
Yeah,
She lives in
live
Houston.
with me. Yeah.
Houston? Okay.
So at the Florida fight, after the fight,
Mm-hmm.
I got a couple of guys like they come up to me and was like, "Hey, can you sign on my head or something?" Like, I was a little shy because I was like,
That's
"I'm
fun,
just a
right?
regular guys, And I look at my mom. My mom was like, "Do your thing,
Yeah,
A
Yeah, I
couple
started
of
signing.
pay-per-views before
crazy.
he made his debut, I remember they were scanning the crowd. I can't remember which event it was, but I remember they're scanning the crowd, and there's Josh Van. Like
Yes.
they caught him on camera, and he's
That
like
was
in the
Daniel
crowd.
Pineda fight.
That was San
At
Antonio.
Was it?
yeah.
San
Okay.
Antonio.
He's like, just in the crowd, and I mean, I know who he is. We know who he is, but it's like, does the camera know who they just caught, like in the crowd? So whenever you say you're just, one of us, one of the fans or whatever,
Yep.
I know that to be true. You're a very humble guy, man. It's a very, modest approach that you have to this fight game. And now he's about to fight in Madison Square Garden.
That's insane.
That's crazy, man.
So what made you be drawn into MMA? What, as far as what got into
He wanted
got
to
you into the sport?
pop his chair.
Man, like when I first got here to the state, man, I didn't speak no English or nothing. Like even now, I have a hard time.
What year
speaking
was
and
that?
shit. 2013.
Okay.
I was 12.
Okay.
So
I would have never guessed that English was his second language. You speak English great.
Yeah,
man.
you
Yeah,
do.
I
You
think
do
you do
very
great.
well.
Thank
very
you,
well.
man. Thank you. But
It's all the
so-
cherries he's popped.
Hang with Ike, Pineda. He's
Yeah.
got that swang and bang.
I
jaw to
would
him
think
now.
that he spoke Spanish.
Yeah.
like
yeah, I
Ike.
bet you speak a lot of
Vete a la
Spanish.
verga, güey.
See?
There you go.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
knew it.
Between Daniel, Ike, and Scotty, come on.
He knows
man.
all the appropriate
Yeah.
cuss words.
The only ones that matter.
Yeah.
The only
You
ones that
already
matter.
know, man. So I got picked on. So I can't talk back, you know. So the only way I know how to protect myself is to actually fight. And then, you know, as I get older, like my friends, they recognize like I got the talent, and so they was like, why don't you go to like, you know, the cage or like do boxing? I was 17 at the time, so I don't even know what MMA was. I know what boxing was, but I don't know what MMA was. And then I saw Conor McGregor versus Mayweather. And then I was like, who's this crazy white guy that talking shit a lot, you know? And then I search him up, and then I see him knocking.
In the cage.
Yeah,
knocking out
people out
Aldo
and shit,
and fucking Dustin
like,
Poirier.
This is what I want to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then when I came back to Houston, I was like, I'm going to go to the gym. And I started going to Precision MMA. And then that's when I met Scotty and them.
So you were with Tom Dinklage.
Yes, sir.
And Big Go Hard Menard.
Yes.
Remember Rick Menard?
I
The
think
guy
he
who runs
left.
the tournaments?
I think he left.
He's a rapper. He's also a rapper.
G-Fats. You know Rick Menard.
Big Rick.
Big heavy set Ricky.
Oh man, I hope he doesn't listen to the podcast. It's gonna
Yeah.
break his heart if Josh forgot him. See, he's a UFC superstar and he's
Just say
already
yeah.
forgetting the
Coach-
little
yeah,
people.
Oh, yeah, I know
He
him.
knows
I
him.
know him.
So that's how you met Scotty.
That's how
And
I
Lil
met Scotty.
Tony.
He came into sparring one day, and then he fucked me up. Like-
Scotty could scrap, man.
So I was like, hey, teach me, like, how the fuck you just hit me like that, man?
Yeah.
You fat, you know?
Yeah.
He was big. So
Yeah.
I was like, how the fuck you just hit me like that? Show me how you hit me.
Scotty was one of these guys that like never had the physique. He never had the physique, but the dude could fight. Like I remember me and him fought on the same card. I was the first pro fight of the night, and he was the third. And he fought Eric Valdez out of Metro, and Scotty missed weight, granted by like 5 pounds. And the dude was like, hey man, I'm taking your money. Scotty said, I don't give a fuck. Just like that. In his Scotty voice. And then he went and faced off, whatever. So I told Scotty, I said, you don't care, bro? He's like, dog, I'm going to choke this bitch out tomorrow. He can have the money, but I'm still getting my win money. I said, all right, cool. So we were on the same card. But anyway, Scotty, like, bulldog choked him or some shit in the second round, and nobody expected it. But I always said that Scotty was a guy that he kept his training crew real small, kept it at home. Like, he didn't really branch out to go train with other people. And he would show up on fight night, and he would handle business, man, and he would throw down. So the kid's got some natural talent. It would have been amazing if you would have met Tony Orozco, his dad.
Man, they always
Like,
talk
you would have
about
loved
that,
him, bro.
yeah.
Like, you would have loved him. The dude,
Thank you, bro.
he was the life of the damn party all the time. But so you're at Precision, and I'm all right. You're at Precision, and so what? Scotty, you asked Scotty that if he can show you how to do that. And he just says, "Yeah, I'm gonna start coaching you," or what?
Yeah, and then, you know, we hit mid a little bit here and then. And then I talked to Coach Tom.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hey, I want to train with him, like, because I want to fight, you know what I'm saying? I was with Tom, and then we was trying to get into a fight, like amateur fight, but
Tom
we can,
McCusker?
like,
No,
I
Tom
don't know,
Dinklage.
Okay.
yeah,
my
he
bad.
reached
I was
a
refilling my
promoter
liquor.
or something, but nobody, like, really replied him or nothing.
He didn't call
so-
me.
Yeah, I guess.
Ooh.
So Scotty, like, me and Scotty talked, and then he was like, I can get you a fight. And then so I was like, but I got to talk to my coach first. And then we talked to Coach Tom. And then, you know, and then that's how I met Scotty.
Scotty, the Silverback guys, like, if you think about it, like, they were all dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those dudes that came out of Silverback MMA back in the day is David Armas, Manny Lazoya, Jacob Silva. Like, those dudes were dogs. Like, they come from that street hard mentality where if you're ever in a street fight, those are the dudes that you want. You don't want the technical guy that learned how to
No.
fight in the gym.
I remember.
You want the dog that this dude already had some scrap in him. He used to whoop ass in high school. Now we're putting some skill behind him. But that's the mentality that Scotty had. So that being said, Scotty was the type of guy that, like, he'd bring a fighter on, and, like, the dude could be training for 2 weeks, and he'd call me, hey, bro, this guy's got to
That's
fight.
exactly me.
This guy's ready.
Yeah, so I would always be like, fuck, should I put this dude on, because he's probably a white belt, and he's probably hasn't had any kind of sparring besides with Scotty and pad
True
work
combat
and shit.
sport experience.
Right, but Scotty pushed him a lot, and I was like, man, I can't deny this kid an opportunity. So I was a little, when you made your amateur debut and it was against that Luke from Metro, he said.
Yeah. Luke Guillen, yeah.
Yeah, I was probably like, man, this dude's fighting somebody from a real fucking gym. Like, and I want to say Saul Solis was around still.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. So Saul cornered Luke, and you finished Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I was like, man, this motherfucker's like, he's for real. So Scotty's like, hey man, he'll be ready again. Like, put
Yeah.
him on the next one. I don't even remember how many times he fought after his amateur debut. Like, how quick.
I think it took me 6 months to get that title.
But you already had like 3 or 4 fights under you, right?
Yeah. So my debut, it was December. So I think I got my title in June or something.
Yes, and he was already like 4-0 or
Yes,
some
sir.
shit.
Yeah, December 2020 made his debut.
Remember, I asked for a title after my first fight. That was
By-
crazy.
I was like, man, we
June.
need a few more, man. We'll get it though.
By June, so in 6 months, he had 3 fights. His 4th fight was a title fight. So in 6 months, he went from debut to champ.
Say, Antonio Figueredo he's legit, man.
Yeah, he was-
Tonio's tough.
I like
was
him
actually
too.
my
He's a good,
toughest
good
fight.
kid.
Yeah, I feel like Tonio's he makes his pro debut next week, and I think he's gonna come up the pro ranks well.
Very,
he's gonna
very
do well.
calculated. He's taking his time.
sir.
So
Yeah, super. Well, I think he was dealing with some
I'm
injuries
sure,
and
I'm sure
home
it's going to
life,
pay off
and
for him.
but yeah, I think he's another one that we can build up if they stay active, man. He's got a good team over there
He
with
is
the War guys.
one of the most talented guys in 125er. Like,
yeah.
to be honest, though.
He's gonna make some noise in the pro ranks now. I got a lot of guys he can fight at 25
sir.
Yeah.
coming into the mix.
Speaking, I won't say names, but speaking of guys who like were calling for title shots, before they were really warranted. Josh suffered a loss early in his pro career to a guy who was 2-0. Guy
Gavin
went to
Jackson.
3-0, and he was calling for a title fight at 3-0.
Yeah. And that's one thing, man. Like, we can obviously I make the fucking rules for the promotion if I want to give a title fight at 3-0, but that's just not something that it doesn't make sense,
At
you know.
3-0, I mean-
Yeah, we're looking for guys that got 7+. Like, I used to say 10 was my hard number.
Yes, I
And
remember that.
it still very well can be, but if I feel like you're staying active and you're taking talented guys out, like we even considered after he beat Paris, like, man, he's not at the 8-9 fights yet, you know. But then there was really like no denying it.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this dude just took out like one of the top flyweight prospects in the region. And then we're like, okay, well, we're gonna do it. Well, we give him fucking Cleveland McLean, who's got over 20 fights, and then he finished him.
Standing rear naked choke.
That was.
Like,
And Cleveland McLean is a beast,
yeah,
man.
Cleveland ain't no scrub, man.
He's a
Like, and
monster. He hasn't fought for us since that fight, has he?
no, he hasn't.
You know,
He
I
has
could
it.
have finished him in the first round. It
Yeah.
just, he was talking so much shit. He was like, I ain't got no wrestling, nothing. So I just want to finish him in submission.
That doesn't surprise
you
me.
saw me trying in the
Yeah.
second round. I was laughing. I was trying for the leg lock.
Yeah,
and
he
everything. I
was trying for
laughing.
the yeah.
Because
Yeah,
after that
man.
first round, I knew I got his ass. So
Cleveland's tough, man. Like, and he brought some experience to the table when he was coming off that KO of Jacob Silva.
Yeah.
He beat Carlos Lazoya down south, who was
Yeah.
another prospect
Mm-hmm.
of
Jacob Silva fighting next week, right?
yeah.
Yeah, he started training with us. Like every Friday he came through. He looked good, man.
Yeah,
Stay tuned, guys.
Yeah, I talked to him this morning, man. He's ready to go.
Yes, sir.
So we got a fire ass card. But back to I just wanted to ask you another question.
Mm.
How did it feel to get your first UFC check?
Oh shit, that was amazing. Like,
The money's different.
So I got home. I was like, no check. And then it took like a little longer.
They wire it or how does it?
Like they just sent me on my bank card. So
Okay.
I kept checking my bank account. I was like, still no money. And then after a week, boom, pop up.
And
I
you're
was
like,
like,
yeah.
Mom, what you want?
Yeah, there you go, man.
I spent everything.
Let's go buy some stupid shit, Mom.
Yeah, just for this first one, and
Yeah.
like just like one thing I can say, man, is like just be smart with your money.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, because you never know when the road will end. Nobody ever knows.
Right.
You know, so you want to make sure like
The
if
money's
you're getting
good while it lasts, but it doesn't
Right.
last forever.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it doesn't matter
So-
what you make, it matters what you save.
So like if you go out
Invest.
there, MSG, and you get that 50K bonus, make sure that like you don't blow it on dumb shit. Like
Yes,
let's
sir.
not go eat steaks and fuck around. Like that money's gotta last. Start.
I'm borrowing a line from Zachary's after his last one in San Antonio before he got called up.
I want to buy some stupid
Yeah, he's
shit.
like, call me up to the UFC. I need some bonus money because I want to buy a lot of stupid shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways to do
buy
it.
some stupid shit, but make
Once
sure
you got
save
a
it.
once you got a little cushion,
Yeah.
and you know, man, this ain't gonna break me if I go buy this fucking Ferrari or whatever. Then you know, okay, I'm living it up. But take care of yourself, man. Speaking of the card for this coming week,
Yeah, I mean, we've got
Man.
Paris Moran, somebody you're very familiar with, taking on Alberto Trujillo for the vacant flyweight.
You're familiar with
championship.
both guys.
The title that you leave behind to go to the UFC, they're fighting for it this Sunday. Any
crazy.
predictions?
Man, I think it's gonna be a very technical fight, but it's gonna be a hard fight, man. It's gonna be an amazing fight. But if Moran can stay distant, you know, keep his distance and stay technical, I think he'll get the win by decision. But
Trujillo's a dog,
that's
man.
a dog, man. He's a dog.
He's in your face.
He's getting better every round.
Yeah.
So that's
His cardio is
The
ridiculous.
longer it goes, the more it's in his favor.
yes, sir.
And he is the type of guy that closes the distance fast. So for Paris to keep his distance, man, he's gonna have to land some tough jabs and front kicks like real quick. You know that what you see though is Trujillo doesn't really have a lot of finishes. I don't think he's. How many finishes can you pull him up?
Yeah, a lot of decisions.
He
And he
decided.
trained with Sanhagen, right? The UFC Sanhagen.
No, he's in California.
Oh,
Yeah, he's in
Okay.
in Cali. But I know he just went to his last fight was a decision win over Silva. He was supposed to fight Josh Walker for the title. Walker missed weight.
Canzano, he also got a decision over Canzano, Anthony Canzano.
And then before Canzano was Silva.
Silva.
A decision, right, in
Yep,
Dallas?
and before that was George Martinez, unanimous.
yeah.
Before that, somewhere else, unanimous decision.
Okay, so I can tell you that Mick is going to look at that and be like, man, this dude hadn't finished
Yeah,
anybody.
there's,
Eric."
there's a lot of fights that go to the judges.
Yeah,
in his
you
record.
got to finish fights, man. You got to finish fights. I'm hoping that I can put a belt on one of these guys and they see the door and we don't have to. But if we have to,
He got a rear naked choke back in 2018.
who was that?
that was like
Over who? I know he has a win over Edgar Chairez.
I don't want to. Hector Valenzuela.
Yeah.
He was 2-0 at the time.
Yeah. See, so I feel like if we can get Cameron Smotherman down to 25, he could be a
Hey.
contender
Yeah,
for the title,
that's
man.
the first time we talked about that on air, I
Yeah.
guess. A possible move to 125 for Cam Smotherman. I think that would work out really well for him.
I'm trying to
Fighting
push
at
him.
135 for him, I mean, he's fighting guys. He walks around pretty close to that.
Right.
So on fight day, he's fighting guys that are, potentially 20 pounds heavier than him. So I think a move to 25 would probably work out really well for him.
I think so, and I'm
we
trying
get
to
to see
convince
him
him.
versus guys like, possibly Paris Moran or the next Josh Van.
So like the issues with stuff like that is like I know him and Paris are in the same room training at Heritage with Eves.
Yeah.
So they've already seen each other. But there's a lot of guys for him to fight, like Joey Elzea and Cameron Smotherman fight.
Yeah.
Eddie Fryray and Cameron Smotherman fight.
Oh, man.
Josh Walker and Cameron Smotherman fight.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of fights. So Cameron goes in there at 25 and knocks a couple guys off.
Well, Walker's going up to 35 now. So
Yeah, I mean, he missed weight by quite a bit when he was set for a title.
Yeah.
The kid's talented as hell, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And if we can just get
That'd
his
be-
weight under control.
Golly, that'd be a good fight, though.
Well,
Smotherman and Walker.
So Walker's been close to 25.
Yeah.
So why not a 130 catch weight to bring Smotherman down slowly?
Yeah.
Smotherman
I like
gonna
it, man.
kill his ass.
You think so?
Cameron
That's
gonna
why
kill
he's
his
the
ass.
why he's the promoter, makes all the big money, man, because he has vision like that.
Be a good fight. It'd be a good fight. But there's fights to make for him.
Burmaster probably told him to do it.
Nah.
All right, kids. Shout out to our homeboy Rich Burmaster, not able to make it to the podcast today here in spirit. We're getting the monkey spirit in us on your behalf, courtesy of Howler Head
Rich
Whiskey.
Burmaster. Yeah, Rich
He's
is
probably sitting at home in his sheath underwear,
popping cherries.
popping cherries.
cherry.
Popping cherries. You set Rich your spots or what? Is that why he's not here? You set them where to go? To pop cherries?
That's probably what it really is.
That's what happened, huh?
Sitting on the couch in his sheath
J-Boy,
underwear.
back in
Oh,
action this week.
My boy.
135.
Gentlemen,
taking
Jonathan
on a.
Davis.
Hey, listen, he has no easy task in front of him. I don't know if y'all are
Taking on
familiar.
Luis Gurule.
So Luis is a 25er. He is a 25er, but he's been kind of hard to match at 25. So he's coming up to 35.
But he's one of those guys that doesn't give a fuck. He's like, okay, you want me to fight at 135?
Yeah.
All right, let's
Yeah.
go.
He's
Either way,
already
knockout.
He's already hit me up asking for the Tulsa card. I was like, man, we gotta get through this weekend. Like we don't have an easy task in front of us this coming weekend, but whoever wins this fight is gonna really solidify themselves as a contender at this point.
Contender.
Yeah, like if Jonathan Davis can take out this kid, is 5-0 with 5 finishes.
That would be a notch in the belt
Yes.
for
Jonathan
Jonathan Davis. I think it's the shot in the arm that his career needs to move to that next level.
What's Davis's record? You have that?
I don't have him pulled up, but I'll
7-3.
get it.
I think he's 7-3. 7-2.
2. Yeah, I think it's 2.
Might be 7-2. I will tell you right now, like, this kid deserves a 35 title shot if he could finish Luis Gurule.
7-2. Yeah, he's 7-2.
Y'all
Jonathan
heard
Davis he deserves a
it.
135 title shot.
Y'all heard it.
If he can finish Luis Gurule,
How do you keep him out of that title picture?
Yo.
I mean, you don't.
can't,
You
man.
can't.
Deserve it.
when you beat somebody that's 5-0 with 5 finishes, that I think is kind of on the radar already, as a flyweight though, not a bantamweight.
Right.
You can't deny the guy that beats him an opportunity.
Yep. And then we already talked about Jacob Silva taking on a name I'm
Shojin
not
Mickey.
familiar with. He's new to the Fury FC.
Yeah, he's coming from Hawaii, man. We're
okay.
bringing him in from Hawaii. Him and Al Savea are teammates.
Man, we always talk about, there's nothing like Fury, man. So when they coming from different promotion, it's a little different, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, Fury got the most, most of them guys are talented, man. You
Yeah.
know, so we always talk shit, if you ain't Fury, you ain't shit,
Dude,
in
I
the
would
gym,
love
so-
I would love to put my top guy in every division that I think against any other promotion's top guy in that division. Let me give you one of my 25ers versus your guy, one of my 35ers versus your guy, my 45er versus your guy.
Back in the day,
let me throw them out there, man.
RFA and Legacy used to cross promote like that. You
Right.
don't see a lot of that cross brand promotion like that. Everybody's
It's egos,
trying
man.
to protect their brand and
Yeah,
whatnot. And I get it.
it's egos.
It's smart business, but I mean, imagine what you could do if we co-promoted an event with another promotion like that.
Somebody give me
Nobody wants to lose in that situation.
Somebody
but, I mean,
give me
it's
a-
a win-win whenever you co-promote and put on a huge event like that.
Like let's just think of like a 45er. A 45er that could take out like AY.
Yeah.
Arian Young, who just fought. Mateus Camillo, who we have on roster. Or think of a 55er. And I'll give you one of my youngest ones that doesn't have a lot of experience. Cody Steele.
There you go.
who or let me give you a welterweight. Who's going to Isaac Moreno?
That's all.
Like Jacoby Smith.
Jacoby Smith. Yeah.
We go to
got one coming up
flyweights.
in
We do
Oklahoma.
got Nick
He's fighting in
Piccinini.
Oklahoma, right?
Yeah, him and Nick are both on
Yeah.
the Oklahoma card. Walker's coming out for that.
Oh, kick ass.
Walker and his wrestling obsessions.
Yeah, it'll
He's
be good
a
to see him
wrestling
again.
fan, man. Like
Just know, he ain't making 25.
Josh Walker.
Josh
No,
Walker.
I was talking about Walker from UFC Fight Pass.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. I
Yeah.
understand your
Talking
confusion
about,
there.
man.
Yeah, Walker from UFC.
Hey, Walker from UFC Fight Pass is not making 125
No,
either.
he's
though.
not
In his
either.
defense, you're still right.
Snow's gonna fight at
No, I ain't
35.
making
Yeah, he's gonna fight at 35.
25.
He's fighting Eric Mercado in Tulsa.
And Keenan Jackson.
Yeah, so Keenan's been with us for a little while. Shimon Smotritsky.
Okay, good to know.
That's
Keep that in mind.
Jason House called me and said, "Man, you got to get this welterweight on.
Oh, he's a Jason House guy?
He's exciting.
Okay,
He's
all
gonna
right.
he's gonna put on. So I'm excited to see him. He actually landed yesterday. 205ers that are very rare nowadays. Al Savea and Mario Moore. Mario coming off a TKO win in Colorado, and Savea coming off a win down here in Houston his last fight.
Yep. And then we open the main card. Tony Toro taking on the All-Star Josh Aliman.
Dude.
What?
That's going to be a banger, man.
And this is a fight that I kind of went back and forth about putting it on the main card,
Yeah.
just because Aliman's making his debut.
Yeah, it's a debut, but he's an exciting fighter to
and
watch, man.
that's why, like, if you're gonna catch the main card, you got to tune in for the first fight, because
Tony Toro, man, that's somebody that Cam Smotherman has some experience with.
it's not an easy first fight for Aliman. He's fighting somebody that's got some good amateur experience and
Yeah.
good fights, but Aliman will go out there and be like, "What do you want me to do? How you want me to finish it? I mean, flying knee, flying triangle, spin kick, backflip."
Hey, just fight a smart fight and look
Yeah.
for an opening, man. God damn,
just
don't-
go
don't
out
let
there
us
and be
call your
exciting.
shot,
Yeah,
man.
be out there, be exciting, and finish the
Get
fight.
knocked out looking for a move we called for. Then it would be your fault. Eric, you said you
Yeah,
wanted
that's-
a spinning back heel kick. I was
Hey,
looking
man.
for
I
that.
used to text you, right? I was like, what
Yeah, what do you
round?
want to do?
What round you
Yeah,
want?
what round? How you want
That
to do
doesn't
it?
How you
surprise
want me
me.
to do it?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me
I
at
used
all.
to text him, man. One thing about me is I write down, like,
used to
let's say
text you. He
3
doesn't
weeks
text you
before,
anymore. He's a
I'll write
superstar
down,
now.
like, I'll knock them out in a certain round. And I hit him up. I was like, what round you want me to knock him out? Pick a number 1 to 3. You know,
This
what's
kid's
the
special,
problem?
man. He's a special
So,
dude.
He
Like,
really is, man. And
Yeah.
we see a lot of that. I mean, there's a lot of fighters that try to call their own shots, and they believe in themselves, which is great.
That's great,
And
yeah.
you kind of you take it all with a grain of salt.
Right.
Everything he's called for and asked for and said he would do, he's delivered on.
I think like I could think of 5 fighters off the top of my head that have come straight from Fury and that are still here. Van,
Cameron.
Isaac Moreno. Smotherman actually took one fight as an AMI in Louisiana,
Oh.
and I think he lost that fight too. Out there, you can't go to another state. Leave it to
Ooh,
the other
man,
dudes.
hey, Louisiana, man.
Cody Steele's been with me, amateur and pro, as well.
Yeah.
Justice Torres. So, I mean, I wish we could. I think we're going to have more in the upcoming years, you know, of guys that are really starting to trust us and be like, man, these guys know what they're doing.
Obviously, I'm a little biased. I agree with you. I
Right.
mean, I've seen what you've done for a lot of people. I get, like,
Miles
fighters-
Banks.
Miles Banks.
He's coming back in
hey,
December.
He's cleared. His
coming back
doctor
in
said, "Hey,
December.
if I were you, I'd take a couple more months, but you're physically ready." I can't wait to see Miles Banks in there.
That kid's going to fast track his way to the Contender Series.
But I mean,
Or maybe a short call.
I get guys wanting to go somewhere else and get other looks and try other things. I mean, you need and want that experience. But I mean, your track record, Eric, speaks for itself. And again, you know, I'm biased because I work with you and we're friends and all that. But I mean, your track record speaks for itself professionally. If you just look at what you've done for guys who have stayed under the Fury FC banner and listened to you, taking your advice. I mean, you're building superstars under this banner.
And one thing that's cool, man, is like Saif Saud is, you know, I hold him high. You know, he's got a great gym. You know,
Yeah.
he's got a voice in the community. And he told me, he's like, man, I know you're a real dude because I sit here and watch you text Mick and Sean about some of your biggest ticket sellers who are making money for you and selling out the arenas, and you're trying to fucking get rid of them.
You're not trying to hold them back so you can sell another, 50 to 100 tickets or some bullshit.
Like,
yeah, you're
when
trying
that
to
dude
change
makes
lives.
when that dude makes it and changes his life, it's gonna bring more people to us. You know, we're doing the
Right.
right thing. It's gonna make more people want to come and fight for us and fill these arenas to support what we're doing for these guys. That
And I remember conversations that we've had, behind the scenes and stuff. It took you a while to get that respect.
Yeah.
He's a hard guy to win over, and,
Yeah.
and you've done that, man. Hey,
yeah,
props.
he said Safe said not until he found out that I had actually fought did he really did he really think that
Yeah.
I was fucking anything. But
And that's one of the things too, man. Like you made me the man I am, you know, in my fighting career. Like if you think about it, like the fight that I lost, you know what I'm saying? Like you want to test me against like the wrestler and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? And then after that, the matchup, you gave me a right matchup to test
After.
myself and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So really, man, Fury is the way, man, to get to the UFC, to be honest.
how did you feel? Let's talk about that loss real quick with Devin Jackson. How did you feel after that? I mean, a lot of fighters will say, I'm done. Like, I'm not going to fight no more. This isn't for me.
Yeah, you hadn't lost a fight, amateur or pro, up to that
That was
point.
your second pro fight.
So-
Yeah, third,
right?
Yeah,
third pro fight.
Third
Pro fight. And Devin came to, he was 1-0.
He was 2-0 in that one.
2-0.
So it's 2-0 versus 2-0.
And got a rear naked choke, round number 2, 4:58.
2 seconds.
2 seconds
So here's the
longer, and that
thing.
fight could have gone another way.
That fight, we was about to close the SOS. So we was about to close the gym. And
Yeah.
Scotty wasn't around, you know. And then I just got recognized by my country. So they gave me like a
Myanmar.
award or something. Yeah, Myanmar. Shout out to Myanmar, you know. And then my dumbass, like, it was a fight week. And then my dumbass went to another stage, get fucked up. And when I came back, you know, it wasn't like.
You weren't on.
And then one of my teammates, he was like, I think you're gonna lose this fight. You didn't train the same way, you know. I
He was
"Nah."
Rocky Balboa in Rocky 3.
So-
He didn't take it seriously.
Yep. So what happened was that second round, that choke wasn't tight, to be honest though.
Yeah.
But then I think about like the third round, that how tired I was gonna be. So I was just like, man, this
You're
shit
like,
ain't worth
I'm
it.
just
So
done.
I
I'm
tapped.
tired.
And then when it really hit me is, you know, when the ref raised our hand and stuff like that. So he didn't raise my hand. I was like, oh shit,
like,
This
fuck, I
hurts.
lost.
some real shit, you know.
Yeah.
So I went into the locker room. I cried a little bit, you know. And Scotty was like, you better not cry in front of your family, you know.
Yeah.
you know how Scotty is,
Yeah.
and then after that, it just fired me that, like, I never want to feel that way ever again in my life, you know.
I think sometimes guys need that.
And then you went on a tear.
Yeah.
So after that loss, every fighting camp, like, I take it 100%. So 7 week, never drink, no smoke. So I just training camp, and then, you know what I'm saying. So after that, it just everything changed, man. After that fight.
So but there was never no doubt in your mind that this was my career's done. I'm not doing this shit no more.
Nah, it was just there, like, there was just fire, bro. After that loss, it's like, man, ooh, if I ever see this guy again, you know, type shit. So.
And he tried to make the fight a couple times, but I felt like you went on such a tear.
It didn't make sense.
And it surpassed.
Yeah.
It surpassed
And
it,
the
you know?
thing is,
And then they were.
I talked to him face to face. I was like, "Come here." After he won that fight, I said, "Come here," and then he went the other
shit.
way.
Yeah.
And then I saw him in the parking lot again. I was like, "Come here, let's have a rematch." He said, "Nah," in front of his, I think was it his wife, the girl that with him.
I think that's just like his coach.
Yeah, so
He's got the
there's two
Hispanic
coaches,
guy.
the girl and the guy.
The heavier Mexican
In front of them, I was like, "Come here. Look, I respect you, but let's run it back." He said, "Nah."
I remember asking on the podcast. I tried to put Eric on the spot. I was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
he's got one loss," and at the time, I mean, I don't know. It was probably around Paris Moran fight. You're like 5-1. I was like, if he wins this fight, like, do we run that one back? And Eric was like, "Hell no, it doesn't make any sense," because you had grown past that fight at that point. It's like,
Man.
okay, yeah, you suffered that loss.
If
You
Eric
learned
would
what
have
you
given
needed
me,
to learn from it, and you
if
moved
Eric
on.
would have given me a chance, I would have.
It just
I'm
doesn't,
sure you would have.
It doesn't make sense, man. Like, so he beat you, and then he beat Dominic Perez, who was 0-1, and then he beat George Martinez, and then I tried to match him with Nick Piccinini over and over and over again, and they didn't want to accept the fight. So then he decided that Fury wasn't for him. He left Fury. He went to Peak.
When was the last time I ever said no to a fight?
Never. And he went to Peak Fighting, and they offered him a title fight at 3-0,
Congratulations.
and he lost.
Just a good old boy.
Yeah, and then good old boy belt, and then he lost.
Never
Speaking of Peak
meaning no
Fighting, man,
harm.
like, I don't really talk to those guys. I don't know them very well, but I've gotten 2 calls this week from 2 venues that we use, saying that they're calling over. They're trying to get into the venues.
Oh yeah.
They're like, man, we got an exclusive with Fury FC. I'm about to call Frank.
Call it
Yeah, I wonder
Frank,
where
get
they're
your
getting
boys,
these
Frank.
ideas and these numbers from.
Get your boys, Frank.
Hey man, I wish nothing but the best for them. I hope they succeed. There's
Me too,
enough,
man.
There's enough for everybody
I
to
agree.
eat in this game, and especially like in Texas, there's so much talent.
And build some champions,
But hey, man, go to your own backyard, build your own backyard. Get out of our house, shit.
And build some champions, and then like, if there's an opportunity that you want to send a guy over here, man, we'll take him. Like, I'll test him for you.
There's plenty of venues out there. It took us long enough to find the ones
I
that
know,
we
man.
like and that we use.
And it wasn't easy.
And
wasn't easy.
people try to come piggyback in there.
Internet-wise,
We want to
not
run it this
easy
one.
either.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't easy.
Anyway, whatever.
So,
all right, that little rant brought
as
to you by
far as-
Howlerhead Whiskey.
Hollerhead
As
whiskey.
far as advice, what kind
Diego's
of
got
advice?
some for you.
What kind of advice would you give to someone that wants to come into the MMA and be at your level? I mean, what's the number one thing that you would say to someone?
Man, the one advice that I would give it to the younger guys is that y'all gotta stay active, man. You know, when I'm talking about active, is like you gotta sacrifice a lot. You know, a lot of young guys, they want to party, they want to
Yeah.
do all that stuff, and you know what I'm saying. Like, I don't really go to party, like, you know what I'm saying. So you gotta sacrifice a lot and then just stay active. Like, in this fight game, you know, a lot of people forget quick. So let's say
Right.
you fight this month, and then you don't fight for 3-4 months. Everybody forget who you are. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta stay active. You gotta remind everybody who you are and stuff like that. So you gotta fight at least every month, if not every 2 months.
I mean,
always-
in addition to being a great fighter and staying technical, staying fresh and all, there's a business side to it too.
Yes,
That
sir.
speaks to what you're talking about. You want to stay relevant. You want to stay like in people's minds. You got to market
Yeah.
yourself, and staying active is one way to do that.
Yes, sir.
I always tell these guys, man, if fighting is what you want to do, and this is your 9 to 5, and you don't have a regular job, like, man, stay ready.
Yeah.
You were working though while you were fighting, right?
I was, yeah.
So you were doing both. You were juggling work, training, early morning training. I saw some
You're
of your
gigoloing what?
some of your later, like as you're getting deeper into your pro fights,
Yeah.
you were at with David Tran Nguyen like super early in the morning,
Yes, sir.
The
5,
Vietnamese
6 in
Viper,
the
my
morning.
homeboy. I love
6
David
a.m. So like you would do that. How many sessions a day were you doing?
3 or 4.
And you were at the boxing gym,
It's Aslan Boxing Gym.
Aslan
Shout out to
Boxing, and then
Aslan.
you're MMA after that.
Yes, sir.
So that's how you're supposed to train to be ready, man. Like we could call Josh Van on 5 days notice, and hey, I'm in. Get him a little paycheck and
Yeah.
get closer to his damn goal. What is your eating like? You like to
Man,
eat?
I eat everything. Like I don't really.
Hey,
cook that
Diego,
much.
calm down. He's talking about food.
Yeah, my food, Diego.
Shit.
Not panocha. Come on, Diego. Diego, get your mind out the gutter.
Okay.
Hey, he stayed ready. You called him on like less than 24 hours notice for this podcast, and he's in there.
Yes, sir.
I know you made some other calls, and some other people couldn't because of whatever reason. But
Need to
man,
focus.
yeah.
What was the
Van
UFC?
stays
The
ready.
UFC called me on a 1-day notice, and Jason called me. He was like, "Get ready, you about to fly." I was like, "What?"
Hell yeah.
And then I was
So
like,
Jason didn't even ask you, hey, you want this fight, bro? Hey,
Nah, he
get your
said-
shit. You're going.
"Yo," he's like, "Pack your shit, pack your shit." I was like, "I bet." And then I was packing my shit, and then 20 minutes later, like he called me. He was like, "Ah, thank God, bro. We pushed a week back."
That's an
I was like-
important
Yeah.
key to the puzzle is good management, man. I've
can't
sang
tell him
Jason
enough, bro.
House's praises on this podcast before, but man, like I see what he does for guys like
I can't say it
Josh
enough.
Van, our guy out of Africa,
Themba.
Themba Gorimbo. Thank you. Howlhead Whiskey made me forget his name there.
Themba Gorimbo.
But dude, look what he's doing for guys. Having a great management team behind you is so important to get you to the pinnacle of the sport where you're trying to go. Jason House, he's living his best life, man. I saw him,
Yep.
saw his social media yesterday.
Oh yeah,
He's out there like on stage singing with some country singer. I forget his name, dude. But man,
Zach Bryan.
yeah,
Oh,
man,
amazing.
Zach Bryan.
taking a little break before this weekend when I'm sure he's going to be super busy.
And one thing about Jason is he got a bunch of fighters, but he
Yeah.
will always answer your text, your call.
That
That was
I know,
Always,
I
bro.
know that
Always.
about him, man.
Man.
We'll be at dinner or something, and he'll get up and go somewhere with his phone. You know what he's
That's
doing, and that
crazy.
happens multiple times. He's very heavily invested in his guys,
So I met
a
him.
lot
in
like
that,
somebody else I know.
You met him after one of your fights.
That Vegas for that contender picture days or something.
That's where you met Jason?
No,
No,
like
Denver.
I met him with you. Remember
Yeah.
my first pro fight?
That was I wonder if that was the night that Diego Lopez fought Nate Richardson.
Could have been, yeah.
And
Could've
you
been.
met I think you met
Yeah, I met him that
That
day.
day.
He was like,
and look at Diego Lopez.
Shit, dude, fan
"You live
favorite.
with him?"
You hear the
Yeah,
crowd
Diego
going nuts
live
for
with Jason.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
he in his second fight. Like first fight, nobody knew who he was, but they saw he has that
Yes.
it factor. You
crazy.
can't put a finger on it. He's got it. Second fight, place is blowing up from like, oh shit, that's that guy.
Yes, sir.
That's so awesome, man. I love it, and he's always so like happy to see you, greeting you and shit, dude. That's another guy that I love, man. I got a lot of love for Diego Lopez.
I need to take
Not-
this
not-
call. Can y'all
not
keep
Diego
the combo
Lopes.
going? Ask my boy some questions.
Yeah, ask me something.
Well, goddamn, pal.
So tell me about that the moment that you walked into
Eric
and
Garcia's
walking out
lying. He
to
ain't got to take a
the
phone. He's got to
UFC,
take a shit.
You know, when you walked out
Walked out.
on the UFC, your first UFC fight.
So what happened was, we got there on Tuesday, and then we stay at the hotel. But then, I don't really get nervous around, when fight day and stuff like that. So I don't really think about fighting and stuff like that. And a bunch of Burmese fans, they came to my hotel room,
What?
like knocking on my door. He was like,
You're there, man. You've made it.
There. There was like the whole nation, bro. Like I love their support. You know what I'm saying? So they
Yeah.
came up to me and it was like, we got your back and stuff like that. So that shit pumped me. But the one thing is I get nervous when I get to the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
So I see the venue, a bunch of people, like thousands of people. I see that, and then we head to the locker room. I was like, damn, I'm about to fight in this. And then Daniel Pineda, bro, he was like, what you getting nervous for? This what you asked for. Now you in there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he was like,
I love Pitt.
Frank, come here, warm him up. So I get a little sweat. And then we just start dancing, joking around, and then like how
He
we was
loosened
in
you
Fury.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
know how we
loosened
was
you
in
up.
Fury. Like we always joke around before a fight and stuff like that. So it's back to that thing, normal thing. We start dancing. Everybody in the locker room was like, "Damn, this kid is crazy."
What the hell is this guy
that was
doing?
like- and then I walked out. That was the best feeling I ever had.
Your,
Like,
your,
I
your
love
music
the
hits.
crowd.
Do you really hear, like when you're standing backstage waiting, do you hear your music hit? Like, does
I
it
mean,
really hit you and your adrenaline gets flowing?
It hit me because back in high school, I used to listen to that song, Chief Keef. I don't know them. So whenever I listen to that song, it's like I want to fight somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll look at people, and I'll put that song on blast, on my headphone or something. And I'll just look at people, and then I just pick a fight because they was looking at me the wrong way or something. So
You
I
make
miss
it
that
personal.
feeling.
You make
Yes,
it. You
I
make
make
it
it
to get
personal,
to that
so-
next level. You kind of have to.
Yes, sir. So, after hearing that song, and then I walked out, man. When I get into that cage, and then Frank and Daniel Pineda was like, "You ready? Let's get this." I was like, "It's time to go, man." So, I thought I was gonna get finished in the second round. Like I
Really?
thought I was gonna get the finish in
Yeah?
the second round, And I told my teammate, my coaches,
Not the first.
not the first,
That's the first time I've ever heard you say that.
because, like he got
Talking
some
about the
losses.
debut?
Yeah, he
UFC
got some
debut?
losses in the UFC, but I feel like he got robbed. Most of his fights.
He
So
got a lot of fights too.
I wanna see where he at the first round. So I don't really throw a lot of punches in the first round, but
Right.
the second round I almost knocked him out.
Yeah.
But then again, it was 5-day notice, bro. So I can't, I don't want to get tired in the third round if I don't finish him, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I pulled back a little bit. But I feel like I could have finished him in the second round, man.
I was happy because I text Mick right after the fight. I was like, "What you think?" He's like, "Man, I think he did good."
Yeah.
It was 5 days notice, short notice. He went out there and got the win. He handled business.
Hey, shout out to Mick, man. Every time I text him, he will always reply, man. So, hey, he is one of the most humble guys I ever met, bro.
Did I say that?
Mickey won more.
I say that probably too much, but Mick has been a blessing to Fury and the stuff
sure.
that we're doing, and he's been such a down to earth dude. Like
Yes,
For
yes.
sure.
for him to be up there and in Dana's office every day or whenever he's out there and eating
sir.
dinner with Dana and like hanging around the celebrities, like Mick is the most down to earth person
Man,
you'll
still
ever
talk
meet,
to
bro.
us,
It
you
hasn't
know?
changed him a bit. He doesn't.
I could
like,
call him
mind
right
all
now
that.
and he'd pick up the phone while I'm on the podcast.
That's crazy.
He'd be like,
That's
"Yo,
right.
yo."
That's love.
So let's go to Mojo's.
You do a
Mick.
shot.
I'm in.
Crazy.
Hey, is he already out there, or is he still in town? You think?
He's not going.
Oh, okay, so he might be here in town.
He's here.
Lunch?
Yeah, he came
We'll
home.
figure that out
He
after
got
the
home
podcast.
yesterday.
We'll
Yeah,
figure
he's
that
here.
out.
Man, I text him. I was like, I want September court.
What'd he say?
He said he's already full, brother.
Yeah.
No,
He's a straight shooter, man. Like he's
Man,
not
yes, sir.
gonna promise you something that he can't deliver on. You
Yeah.
know, if he says it's gonna happen, it'll happen, and if he says you can't do it, that's him being upfront. He's a straight shooter. No bullshit. So what's the
Yeah,
goal?
legit.
The ultimate goal? The belt?
The belt, defend it 3-4 times, and then
how would it
I don't know.
feel?
I'm gonna see how it go. You know.
How would it feel to win the UFC flyweight title and then take it back to Myanmar?
That would be amazing, bro. That would be amazing. Cause right now, like I'm the first ever UFC fighter, from Myanmar, and it's big right now. So if I ever go back to Myanmar, I'll be, I'll be like a big celebrity or something.
Mhm.
But if I get the belt and go back right now,
Be
that'd
insane,
like-
right?
That'd be insane. You know what I'm saying? So, man, that was just I'll just be grateful for everything. You know what I'm saying? Thank God.
Mhm.
So.
Heard that. I felt like we were at a good point to like wrap, and then like Eric kind of bolted it right. I can sit here and bullshit with you all day, man. What are some of your more notable Fury FC memories? I know we talked about the build of the Paris Moran fight that you kind of spoke into existence. Besides that, man, what's a memory for you that stands out here in Fury FC?
My first pro fight.
Yeah.
What's up, Jacob?
Oh, it only
What's up,
it,
man?
It only took them
What's up, brother?
2
How you
hours.
been? Hey, come here. We gotta introduce you, bro.
Hey, you say you want to be the UFC flyweight champ one day?
You want to be the flyweight champ of the UFC?
Hey, the real champ.
Welcome
right here.
in the
He's
assassin,
He's the
baby.
future.
Brandon Moreno,
What's
ladies
up,
and
brother?
gentlemen.
Going for your last fight, my man. Congrats. Guys, how you feel?
What's up, my brother? It's good to see you again, man.
Thanks so much, guys. What
Hey,
happened
it's
here?
a pleasure to have you
What
here.
What happened here?
Hey, we need a cup. We got
want a
plenty of
cup?
cups.
No.
Hey,
thank you
Jacob,
so much.
how you doing, man? Need a cup?
I'm good, man.
It's
He's
too
like,
early
I'm
to-
done with Howard Head. I don't need any.
Come on, man. Come
I
on,
feel
man.
you. I feel you.
It's too early to start, man.
Ah, hey,
What's
it's
up, brother? How
Hey,
you
I'm about
doing,
to
man?
take y'all to my favorite restaurant.
it's almost
Papacitos.
noon local
Papacitos,
time. It's
baby.
almost time to start day
We're,
drinking.
we're wrapping it up and we're about to go eat, but
Champ himself. What's up, guys?
yeah, he's on to big things as always. He's in Houston for some appearances and stuff.
I know, man.
Bro.
That's the thing. In the future, when you start to go up in your career, it's not just about to fight. It's about to do a lot of different things. Right?
Yes, sir.
man?
We got a lot of
He loves me. This guy loves me, man.
Oh, I know.
For sure.
He's
I
been
know.
with me like 3 weeks in a row. He can't with me anymore.
You tired of Brandon yet?
break, dog.
You need a break for Brandon, huh?
Yeah.
The Brandon break.
The Brandon.
That's a t-shirt.
Jeremy's gonna take care of him now from now on.
But he's getting fun. at
Hey,
the same
hire
time.
me. I'll come with you.
Nah, let's go, man.
I'm
Man,
in.
We went to Tequila, Jalisco 2 days
bro,
ago.
it
It
was-
was amazing.
Where's that? Where's that?
Tequila everywhere.
in
Next-
Hey, they're not a paid sponsor. Don't put them out there. Hey, hello.
Oh, sorry! Oh, my goodness!
I'm kidding, brother. I'm kidding. You're good, man. You're good.
Jalisco is what? A restaurant? Bar?
No,
it's
it's
a
city.
city.
Yeah,
City.
That's where tequila's
Yeah.
originated from.
Oh,
yeah, it's in
shit.
Jalisco, Mexico. Jose
Okay.
Cuervo took us out
They
there.
got any Asian massage places out there for my boy?
No, not
That's
that.
Hello.
They got crickets though.
He'll
Solo
never go.
They got
Mexicano.
crickets.
He'll never
They
go.
got worms.
Latino.
They got a bunch of agave fields. Brandon's got a new commercial that's coming out. It's
Oh,
gonna be really
shit.
cool.
Hey,
Cuervo's
man.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Cuervo's at.
Josh and Brandon, either one of you could answer this question. Diego wanted to know: have either one of you ever had a Filipino twist?
Oh my goodness, what is that, man? I mean, he looks excited just to say that name.
We'll have to talk about that off
We'll
air.
talk about that off the air.
We'll talk about that off air. You ready to wrap this
How
up,
you
man?
feel?
I think my
You-
boys are hungry.
Yeah, let's go grab some lunch. We'll throw some back. Hey, guys, the time for talk is over. This has been Fury Unleashed.
And now, Houston, Texas, make some noise because the time for talk is over.